what do we expect to come from this visit, and what role will he play in the ongoing talks?
In reality, the U.S. invite Syria diversion comes in a very delicate time, as Syria is getting a new phase, and there are expectations and great demands domestically and internationally to establish a transitional political process that include all the components of the Syrian people, and without any exclusion, as it was in the toppled Bashar al-Assad regime, that comes in the context of the Al-Aqaba meeting outcomes by sending a UN mission to bolster and forge a comprehensive political process that include the Syrian people, and them only are capable to manage the matters there. Therefore, the UN is to execute the resolution 2254. In fact, there are changes and a regime was fallen. But and the outcomes of Geneva 1 and 2 and all discussions between the regime and the opposition never went well, and there is a dire need of a new process which should be based on the national reconciliation and the national dialogue, and establishing a civil government and formulate or drafting a new constitution to be based on the concept of citizenship, that all Syrians have the same rights and the same duties.
And what do you think are the prospects for a peaceful transition in Syria, and how can regional powers influence the process moving forward?
I think there is a consensus between the Arab regional and international parties to have a transitional government to include, and based on the perception of participation nor exclusion. I think that the regional role is very important, as the new political administration headed by Ahmed Sayed, the chief of the HTC, is still in need of international need to have a relationship with the international community. Certainly wouldn't be achieved, but to consider the international demands in civilian government that include every component of the Syrian people. And I think if there is a direction of unilateral control of power, I think it wouldn't be have a good opportunities of political and economic support. Therefore, the Arab and Gulf and the UN role, it's important to fostering communication and engagement, and to request from the new government to translate their ideas regarding the future of Syria, and should we have steps on the ground formulating a new constitution by the acknowledgement of all Syrians, and to have a role of the civil Syrian opposition. Yet up till now, HTC, one of the biggest factions that control the situation on the ground, which they are the only one to decide without a consultation or engagement of the other opposition Syrian factions. That's what raises concern. Therefore, there are international and Arab movement, as we've seen in the Al-Aqaba meeting and the Ferguson visit, as the practicing the carrot policy by saying that it would lift the sanctions by the US in return of for the HTC to do
Okay.
practical steps.
Okay, let me just ask you another question. How do you assess this joint statement by the foreign ministers of Jordan and Egypt and Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Iraq, Lebanon and Bahrain regarding Syria's future? What do you make of this statement?
In fact, Al-Aqaba statement and the Arab ministerial contact committee that's playing a role, that fostering the Arab role in managing the Syrian equation, as the non-Arab roles, as we've seen previously, were negative by in solving the matter in Syria, but complicating it. Hence, the statement reflects the eagerness of the Arab nations to escalate their efforts in providing all forms of support, economically and politically, and to assert the sovereignty of Syria and the rejection of the Israeli incursion, and the importance of the peaceful solution and the comprehensive civil government, and the return of the Syrian refugees, and to help Syria to overcome the economic challenges.